Hello, everyone. This is another episode, it's a special episode of the Real Housewives of Lagos After Party. And we have a special guest here with us today, but I'm not going to say anything. My name is Tina.
And I'm OG. I'm,
um, it's early for me today. It's 10 a.m. It's not that early, but it's, here in New York City, it is 10 a.m. I'm tired, but I'll let you keep talking and introduce our special guest.
okay. We have one of the Real Housewives of Lagos, and you all know her as the fashion killer. I mean, if I have to go for your guess is as good as mine. You know who that is. The most stylish of them all. The most intelligent of them all. Chioma good hair. Okay, I always call her Chioma good hair, but actually her name is Chioma Ikokwu. Chioma, how do you feel when people refer you as Chioma good hair instead of Chioma Ikokwu?
Hi everyone. First of all, OG, you want to put me in trouble. Are you sure I can have this title?
Girl, I'm
Hmm.
Miss B. I'm the one giving you all the titles. Well deserved.
Girl, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm happy to be here. Hi Tina. I know it's early in New York. Trust me, I can relate. And hi OG, lovely to meet you guys. Um People actually think good hair is my surname. I don't know how they can think this, but people actually, think that I was born as Chioma Good Hair. My
Okay.
name is Chioma Ikokwu, as you rightly pointed out. I'm Igbo. I'm from Anambra, proudly Anambarian.
Yeah.
And Good Hair is one of my businesses. And I think when I opened Instagram, it was the only business that I had at the time. So it kind of made sense to just add Good Hair to the back of my name. Just, like when you're so attached to your brand and people kind of like know your brand, they know you. So I just sort of like infused it into one, Chioma Good Hair. So yeah, Good Hair is not my surname, guys.
It makes sense.
No.
Actually, it's good. But when people are whenever anyone see good hair, they'll be Becky with the good hair. You know that Beyonce song?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Becky
So
with
I'm
the
sure,
good hair.
yes, of course, I'm sure a lot of people would be wondering, could that be the person Beyonce was referring
That's not me. It wasn't me, please.
Yeah.
to?
No,
Okay.
it's always good to obviously talk to people who we, tend to watch on TV, and people tend to form opinions about other people based on what they see, not what they know, right? And so,
Yes.
just from like our little interaction with you, you're so nice, you're so sweet, and you're just very open. And what and I know I said I didn't have any questions, but it's coming to me. What would Let's just start. Like, what would be the biggest misconception that you think people have of you by watching this show?
So many. It's unbelievable. And so one thing about me, I'm very proper. That's not a lie. I'm very professional. So even the fact that people think certain things about me on the show, there's so much I can clarify. Every single episode, I can explain every scene, every episode and be like, actually, guys, this is not what happened. This is how it really went down, whether it's to do with production, the cast. But I'm not going to do that because we're not allowed to do that. Do you understand? Also, it's a show. Like, what's the fun if people can't kind of like form opinions and be entitled to what they want to think and interpret things the way that it looks. So I kind of like just let people think what they want to think, believe what they want to believe. At the end of the day, we have a reunion show, and the whole point of a reunion is to basically clarify certain things that people, probably got wrong as the show was airing. And I also feel
Mm-hmm.
like when the show is over completely and people have enjoyed it and said everything they wanted to say, I can now come out and start to like correct certain impressions. So I want to say that all is not as it seems, but the greatest misconception is people thinking that I'm maybe like stuck up or like I feel superior or I'm like this queen that her shit doesn't stink. That I'm the opposite. But I think for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's just the way that it's been edited or like I don't know why, but those bits where I'm like forever having fun, I'm playing, I'm being goofy, it just never makes the cut. you know. So I think people only really get to see like the serious side, the proper side, maybe when I'm reading somebody, and they don't really get to see like the fun part of me, you know. I remember the first couple episodes in some of these like Twitter spaces and podcasts, a lot of people are just like, I don't understand why all the ladies love Chioma. I don't understand why all the ladies are gravitating towards Chioma. I don't understand this. I don't understand that. And in my head, I'm like, guys, like, surely it's not rocket science. If everybody is gravitating towards me, it's because I'm a nice person.
Yeah,
Do you
girl.
understand? Like, they actually like me. These women are not mad. They're not like children. They're not Nikki. Do you understand? You can't, they're strong bosses. So trust me, if they don't like you, you will know they don't like you. So if everybody gravitates towards someone, that says a lot about the person, you know? So yeah, I think the biggest misconception is people just thinking that maybe I'm not nice, or I'm like overly calculative, or this overly perfect person. I'm actually not. I just dress good, I look good, and that's it.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's the perfect. And I'm glad that that I asked this question, because again, a lot of people say things about people they don't know, right? We don't. And I always read, like kind of cover this on the podcast, saying, look, guys, these people are human beings, right? You guys are human beings, regardless of what we see on our TV screens. You have feelings, you have hearts, and people need to be kind, right? In how they discuss other people, and also just understand that there are human beings behind everything that these people, like people, are saying, and just to kind of
Mm-hmm.
humanize you guys. And I'm glad that you answered that. I think it's best not to even clarify anything until after the reunion, just because what's the point of watching a reunion if we already know? Oh,
Exactly.
so I get it. And I'm glad that you, at least in the stuck up part, I'm glad that you cleared that up, because some people feel uneasy about certain things. I know the first episode, when, and I talked to OG about this, and this is not a drag or anything. I was like, well, it was kind of weird when she told them they can eat the food. We're like, why couldn't they eat the food, right? And that was
Mm-hmm.
my first thing. And OG said, actually, that's not how it works. Like, I know you have not been in Nigeria in a long time, so you don't know
Mm-hmm.
how this works, but actually she was doing a good thing by making them know that it's okay for them to have it. And yeah, so I'm glad that at least you let people know
And
that.
can I just touch on that? So basically, yes, OG is right. A lot of people that felt that that was like, maybe wrong or condescending are not people that live in Nigeria, so they don't understand how the average Nigerian person treats their staff.
Yes.
Most Nigerians, it's like God and then I don't and slaves. That's how it is in Nigeria, But with
Oh
me, it's
wow.
very different. It's very different. I mean, I did spend like half of my life in England, so naturally, my mentality is not even necessarily maybe 100% Nigerian, in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that I don't treat my staff like they're slaves. Of course, I'm professional, do what you need to do, but I'm very human with them. Like, I play with them, I have fun with them, I eat with them, I dance with them. Like, we're forever vibing. So you'll be surprised, but maybe in your typical Nigerian restaurant, they won't actually let the staff have the food. They'll pack it as takeaway or give it to their friends, but they won't actually give it to the staff. But with us, like, it's kind of like a running joke, with me and my staff. Whenever we have, like, they look forward to the training. So I basically, every Monday we have a training session, and then we have food, and then they eat. So basically, the only way I can get them to come for this training is because we're going to have loads of food after. So I don't
Yeah.
really know how people saw that as a bad thing or thought that it was being condescending. It's just kind of like a standard thing that we do, you
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
and also, and people who haven't followed you for a while would not know that. They don't know that you do this training. It's all over your social media. I've seen them. I've
Mhm.
watched
Mhm.
those training things that you do, and
Mhm.
and I think some people thought it was just for the show, but it isn't, because I've seen you do training with them for
Mhm.
years
Mhm.
now. And yeah, so
Years, exactly, for
let
years
me keep
and
my
years
mouth
and
shut
years.
and let
Mhm.
OG talk.
Yeah, actually, Chema, yes. So when that scene played out and everything, and a lot of people had a whole lot to say about it. I kind of even had something to say about it in this podcast, and also in one of the clubhouses. I actually explained to them how it works, and here that. And before I answered the question when someone threw it on the clubhouse, I had to ask the person if the person reside in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. Because if it's someone that is outside Nigeria, I can understand where the person is coming from. Like, this thing literally happens between especially one man business, like private owned companies, and they are, when it comes to all those private owned companies and all that, they don't treat their staff like human being. I know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians will tell you that they most of them, like 85% of them, they don't care. They don't, even when some people had something to say about the one of your staff, the one that you gifted
The
the
arm.
yes, some people had something to say about it that it didn't look genuine and all that. I said, look, are you people forgetting we are in Nigeria? In this country, that guy could have lost his job, because it's not like this. I'm not saying like he lost this thing happened after work, like he was on his way going back home. So it didn't happen during when he was discharging his duties, for the company. But
Complete. Mm-hmm.
still, you went out of your way to do this. Most of these private owned businesses, they would just not care. They would just, the only thing, they will sympathize with you at that moment, and
Mm-hmm.
they will even tell you, oh, with this you won't be useful to us or anything, and they will just let you go. But the
Mm-hmm.
guy still have a job, and you still gifted him that arm. I mean, it's out of kindness. They should see that this person is not running like a typical Nigerian business.
Do you know?
That's
Do
the
you
way
know? Do you know the funny thing with the guy with the arm? Right. Two things. First of all, this happened, I think, over a year and a half ago. Yeah,
okay.
it was like just before like the whole NSARS thing. And do you know that he still works for our company? He doesn't actually do anything because obviously without he's a bartender, and without his
Okay.
right arm he can't really mix any drinks. We
Okay.
tried to retain him so he could work behind the bar and assist, but because he's not left-handed, he was actually
Yeah.
slowing them down. So the other
Okay.
bartenders complained. They were like, no, 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 he can't work with us. He's slowing us down. So I said, you know what? Come to work every day just so that you don't sort of like stay home and get miserable, and we'll pay you a full salary for doing nothing. So
Oh.
he's literally been under our payroll the entire time. Now, when the arm thing,
Wow.
when his arm arrived, as hard as it will be to believe, it wasn't even part of what we were supposed to be filming that day. It had not, like, it's not even something that I even necessarily thought about when it came to filming. We were actually filming, with when the gift boxes arrived, that I wanted to, give the ladies to invite them to the Abuja trip. And the next thing, the arm arrived, you know,
Okay.
and before because he was working, in Brass and Copper, I was in my office, and my one of my PAs actually brought the arm and was like, it just came in, and I was like, oh my god, really, and then the crew were like, we have to get this on camera, and I was like, guys, I don't think we should film this. They were like, no, like people need to see that you're actually a good person. We have to get this on camera, and I was like, okay, then let's do it. So it was actually very organic. It happened very naturally. It's something that had been going on for years anyway. I didn't just pick somebody off of the street and be like, oh yeah, come, let me give you an arm. I mean, come on now,
Yeah.
obviously, like the to be honest, he wasn't expecting it. Do you understand? Like
Yeah. I
so
figured.
maybe from his face, he looked a bit shocked because he wasn't even expecting the arm to arrive that day. It was supposed to arrive, I think, the week after or something. So he
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it. Maybe the cameras, everything might have been overwhelming for him, but like, and he probably didn't know how to react or whatever. So if it looked awkward,
Yeah.
it's probably for those reasons. But I mean, it's genuine. Like nobody is out here pretending to be a nice person or a kind person. I've had my charity for over 4 years. Before my
Yeah.
official charity, I'd been doing stuff like this on a regular. The charity was just to like formalize things. And this is something that I do. And anybody that knows me and has been following me for years, they would know, they know what time it is. Do you understand? Maybe new people coming on are thinking, oh, it's too good to be true, blah blah blah, how could she be, I don't know. It's yeah.
No, I
I
mean,
don't think
I don't even think that you need to explain yourself anymore. Like, like at the end of the day, you did something good, and people can take it or leave it how they want to leave it. And I'm glad that and Solomon actually explained this whole arm thing on Clubhouse, and it's recorded for the world to hear. So like, if people wanted to go hear how that whole thing happened, literally what Solomon said in that Clubhouse weeks ago is exactly what you just said.
really.
So
And
you know what I mean?
I wasn't even on the Clubhouse thing. I didn't even know he said anything about it. So
It was like Choma doesn't know I'm here, blah blah blah. But I was just like, I'm sorry, but like, because I think people were coming for him, like, oh, you work for Choma, so obviously you're going to support Choma. It's like Choma is living her life, and like
Yeah. So,
I'm my own person. Yeah.
irrespective of whatever anybody have to say anyway, your fans truly love you the way you are, even what you do and everything. So I mean, you should be
thank
okay
you.
with whatever the people that actually appreciate you. You should be okay with what the way they perceive you and what they think about you. I think, and the good that you do for the community. I think that that should even comfort you and, make you into to continue to give back to the community. I was going to come to the Good Way Foundation thing so that you can, for those that really do not know that you have this. I know I've been following you for a while. Like, in fact, I'm not going to. We have mutual friends, and you've actually posted me on your story like a couple of times.
Oh, really?
Yes. But that's
Wow.
by the way. Yes. I think you should have the room. I mean, tell people more about the Good Way Foundation. Um, yeah, me, I kind of also had something to say about it. Like, you mentioned sickle cell. You mentioned it's about empowering women and girl child. Abuse or something. There were so many things you mentioned when you were trying to introduce the Good Way Foundation. So I really want you to like touch down on that. Let people actually know what your focus is on the Good Way Foundation.
So the Good Way Foundation is so dear to my heart, and like for me, it's kind of like a way of life, you know. Like I said, the foundation only formalizes what I already do anyway, just so that there's like a proper sequence of things. So how it even came about in the very first place is when I was in England, my boyfriend at the time, he had sickle cell, and you know, we were just always in the hospital. Not always, but like we used to go to hospital a lot, you know. And sickle cell isn't really something that, I mean, you hear about it, but people don't really understand what it is. They don't really know what causes it, or like the whole thing about knowing your genotype, and just, you know, if you're AA, or sorry, if you're AS, not really having children with somebody else who is AS, because you can have a child that is SS. All of those things people don't know. And they go on to have children who are SS and don't really understand the impacts that it has on the child and then the entire family. You know, it's horrible. If anyone that knows anybody who has sickle cell, it's just such a terrible thing that could be avoided, you know. And just seeing my boyfriend at the time suffer in pain, like sometimes he'll just be like, God, why me? Why me? Why me? Just take my life. Like, what is the point going through all this pain? And it just used to hurt my heart so much. Obviously, we were in England at the time, so healthcare is better in the sense that they can stabilize you. The death rates are not that much. But in Nigeria, anyone that's Nigerian, we know the healthcare system. Having sickle cell is almost like a death sentence. Do you understand? If you don't have the means to sort of like look after yourself and get the required medication. And so when I moved back to Nigeria, I was just like, actually, I'm so passionate about this whole sickle cell thing. I really want to do something about it. I want to go into the rural areas and educate people and just make them understand that, guys, this thing is avoidable. Like, don't bring this upon a child and don't do this to your family, you know. And that's how it started. So when we started those drives where we would go into the rural areas and educate them and give them, because basically if you have sickle cell, there's certain things that you can take daily, like folic acid, just things that will help your blood to, you know, stay regular, as opposed to forming the sickle cell shape that causes the illness. So whilst we were going to these slums and rural areas to educate them and give them medicine, I was just like, is this how people are living, you know? And it's like, for those who are not Nigerian, Nigeria is almost divided into two. You have the side where people are doing well, everyone's having fun, enjoying, working, making money, and everything looks good. And then you have the slums, which is actually the majority of the country, where people are poor, they do not have power, no electricity, no water. Majority of them are not educated. It's just horrible. It is the entire opposite. And when you live on the good side, it's very hard to come across people on the other side, you know. So going into these rural areas, I started to see what was really, really going on. And I was like, hold on, it will be very terrible for me to see this and not do anything about it. And that's when I started thinking about expanding the focus of the foundation. So not just focusing on sickle cell, but actually focusing on like poverty, education, healthcare, and all of that. Now, if you know me personally, you'll know that I'm pro women. I'm actually a girl's girl. So you know how people say, oh, I'm
Me
not,
too.
I'm a guy's girl, you know, I don't really F with women, blah, blah, blah. I F with women. I love women. I want to see women win. I'm that kind of person. If you're close to me, you will look good. Like, if you didn't plan on looking good, you are going to look good, because I will dress you up, I will make you up, I will fix your hair. I'm that kind of girl. So just seeing how, like, in these communities, it was even worse for the women, in the sense that, like, they will not even, like, certain parts of Nigeria, it's actually an abomination to educate a girl. So there were just so many girls not doing anything, just there, like some of them naked. I was like, no, 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 this can't fly. Like, I'm going to ensure that I can empower women. I can empower the girl child. I will focus not just only on women, but majorly on women, you know? And then the stigma of like single mothers, things that like every other part of the world is perfectly fine. In Nigeria, there's still a stigma. If you're a single mom, you know, no one wants to help you. People kind of look down on you, you know? So I found that they were just like kind of like dejected. So I actually really focus on single mothers and widows because, of course, they're like, you know, in Nigeria, they look at them as almost like second-class citizens. So that is the focus of the Good Way Foundation. Empowering women, educating the girl child, obviously like lifting them up. I get them. So what we do is we not only give them hand-me-downs, which is what most foundations do, like, you know, they give you food, drinks, clothes, but then guess what, after 2 days, 3 days, it's done. They're back to where you met them in the first place. So
True.
for me, empowering is not just giving you hand-me-downs, which are also great, don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
empowering you financially, making you independent. So we get them jobs in places, we
Mm-hmm.
educate them, we teach them skills. So they go for skills
Mm.
acquisition courses. And for those who already have these skills, we basically like invest in their businesses. So they'll write up like a business plan, nothing fancy, just like, you know, a couple pages of what they plan to do and how they think they can take their businesses to the next level or make their ideas into businesses. And then we fund them. They start these businesses. When they start these businesses, they're able to employ people in their communities, and those people are able to
Yes.
train other people in their communities. So can you see how it's a
Yep.
ripple effect? You
Yep.
bless one person and they
Yep.
bless every single person in
Everyone.
that
Yeah.
community. And trust me, it's amazing. Like it's so beautiful to watch. Just seeing people actually become empowered, how grateful they are, what you're doing for everybody. And we do it like community by community. So we have a few communities that we've adopted and we just generally do this for. So that's what it's about.
I have to
Okay.
say, Choma, this is incredible. And trust me, OG knows, like, I am a like a uber feminist, crazy feminist, right? Like, I am a
Mhm.
girl's girl. I'm all about the women. And I have to say that OG can tell you, like, I've been waiting. It's only two people that have done it on this show, which is you and Tony, who've gone out to like help people. And
Mhm.
when I saw what you did with the Good Way Foundation, and actually providing money for these people to invest into their business in turn, it says blessed to be blessed, so right, that's
Yeah.
what it is, blessed to be blessed.
Blessed to
And
be a blessing.
blessed to be a blessing, yes. And so that way they can kind of pay it forward. It really made me, like, it touched my heart. And one question I actually had for you is that maybe after this I can connect with you, because I really want to buy fascinators from that lady that talked about making fascinators and stuff. I want to be able
Okay.
to support
Yeah.
her business somehow.
Oh, thank
and
you so
um
much.
and also, like, if you guys need stuff, I'm in the process. I live between the West Coast and the East Coast, right? So I go back and
Okay.
forth, but I'm getting ready to kind of be permanently in the West Coast. So I have a lot of clothes. Some still
Okay.
have tags on them that I can try to
Oh
ship out.
wow.
And
That they
it's
will love that.
um
Okay.
that way, and I
Okay.
can ship out clothes to you to kind of give to these people, because what you're doing, that is incredible, and that's
Thank
something that I
you.
think should be commended. And I'm sorry I jumped in because OG was asking a question. I jumped in once you were done talking,
No,
so
no,
let
no.
me let me pause.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, that's fine. I was actually going to touch down on the fascinator, because I know you mentioned in one of our podcasts when we talked about our foundation that you would like to get you would like to buy from the ladies. So I was going to go there, but that's fine. So Choma, do you think the franchise have impacted your brand, positively since you've been on the show?
So I think with the Real Housewives, there's a stigma that, oh, you know, it's ghetto, it's ratchet. People think that, you know, because I remember like even saying to some of my friends and family that I'm considering doing this, and they're just like, oh, it doesn't fit with your brand. Like, why would you be on a show like that? People are going to be so ratchet. They love to fight. They only sell drama. And I was
Mm,
like, that's true to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, like, you know, you can go there and change the narrative. You know, why must
true.
it be all about drama? Why must it be all about fighting? You can actually go there and just, like, you know, show that you could be a boss babe, doing your own thing. You're, you know, easy to live with, work with, happy go lucky. And I feel like so far so good. I've tried to be that way on the show. You know, it is a show that sells drama. Not, I wouldn't say sells drama, but it's a show that like people kind of watch for the drama. So if you're not necessarily bringing the drama and being overly feisty, people might not really enjoy watching you. But I think that there's also going to be a lot of people that appreciate, you know, you kind of like just being a queen, just like, you know, keeping your cool, keeping your calm, being mature about things. And I think that there's a lot of people, there's a huge portion of people that kind of appreciate, you know, the way that I portray myself on the show. And
Yes.
by the word portray, it's not to say that I'm acting or being any different from what I am in real life. You know, I won't lie. What you see is what you get. You know, some people go about claiming that they're the realest, they're this, they're that, da, da, da. Not saying that anybody's fake, but, you know, for me, I kind of just went on the show being myself. I was like, you know, I remember saying to my sister, I said, what if they hate me? She's like, but what if they love you? I was like, well, you know what? It's what it is. I'm just gonna go and be myself. And the truth is, you can't appeal to everybody. You know, some people
It's
love the
true.
fact that I'm so put together. They love the fact that I slay every day. I look, you know, whatever. And some people
Choma,
absolutely hate that.
Dio.
Some people hate that.
Sure.
In fact, some people, that's my only crime. The fact that I'm put together. They're like, it's not true.
Oh
It's fake.
my
It's not real. It's not possible. As in, now, wow. I'm like, guys, like, you know, so, you know, what they love me for, they hate me for. But it's okay. I'm very okay with it. Like, I'm super okay. I'm one person that, not, I have thick skin. I've always had thick skin regardless. But like, I think for me on this show, maybe after episode 4, I stopped caring, because I think episode 3. By the way, we watch it when you guys watch it. You know that, right?
I
So we don't know
Yeah.
what's
know. I
coming out. Okay, so
know.
so the shock factor that you see is how I feel. But like, so
Oh
I think
my God.
episode 3, when Laura was insulting me, that rat, that this, that, I was like, yeah, how can this girl be saying this about me? I was so angry. I remember boiling, watching it, and literally physically shaking, like, no, I can't take this. And I had to pep talk myself to understand that, okay, Choma, calm down. This was filmed a couple months ago. You know, everybody's moved on from this. Don't react, don't feel bad. That was the first time that I like literally had to deal with just like being shocked by what a cast member had to say about you. And of course, a lot of these things are said in diaries. They're not saying it to your face. So they're not, even though to you guys it looks like, oh, they're insulting the other person to their face, but it's not really to the person's face, because it's in your diaries. Diaries are done in the comfort of your home by yourself, where, you know, you can really put your macho cape on and say whatever you want to say. But then in person, what are you really saying, you know? So that was the first time. I think episode 4, just like people having different opinions, I was just like, you know what, like, if I pay attention to people's opinions, like, I won't I won't leave my house. I'll be crying. So I literally just have to like put everything, you know, kind of like, it goes over my head. Let me put it that way. It just goes
I'm
over my
glad.
head. I'm okay
I'm
with
glad
it.
that. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that that it goes, because I worry, and I worry about everyone on that show, because it just for transparency, I've never watched a reality show or even any of the Real Housewives, right? So when they said it was coming to Lagos, I'm like, they must show Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. They must show Lagos the way it is, right? And I
Hmm.
want to see opulence. I want to see boss girls and all this stuff. And so I worry, right? Because I'm like, well, these are human beings, regardless of who, you know. And just so you know, full transparency, you get dragged on this podcast sometimes. Toyin gets dragged, Laura gets dragged, Caroline gets dragged. Auntie Yabo is the only one that has not gotten dragged yet, and actually kind of
I
got dragged
dragged
last
her. I
episode.
dragged her. Remember? The
Yeah.
last
So like,
episode, I dragged her.
everyone gets it like, depending on the episode. It's not and it's not necessarily because of anything personal. It's based on what we are
Hmm.
seeing on the show, right? Like, okay, this is,
Hmm.
I wouldn't have done it this way, blah blah blah, but it's not
Hmm.
personal. So I'm
Hmm.
glad that
Yeah.
you are able to see this and then be like, okay, this is not that deep, and we've
Hmm.
already moved past it, and it makes me feel good that mental health
Yeah.
is a big thing for me.
Hmm.
And I'm always concerned. One reality show that I actually went out of my way to watch was, it was on another network, and I'm not going to mention it, but I really was concerned about the mental health of the people on this show. I'm like, how can you do the show and not, do they provide mental, like, you know, that was the first thing I was thinking about, is mental health. So I'm glad that you've able to compartmentalize, you know, how you're going to deal with seeing it for the first time, because I think that's important. um in all of this is knowing, okay, I did this show, but now I got to see it with everybody and react in real time, seeing what other people are saying about me. And that's, you know, mental health is big. And, you know, it's well, it's not May anymore. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we just left May. So I hope
Hmm.
anyone listening out there, um If you are going through anything and you feel like people don't like you, one, speak to somebody. Two, maybe be more like Chioma and try to just compartmentalize that and just make sure that you take care of yourself. You're more important than anything else anyone thinks. So that's it.
Absolutely. And I must add, I do have a very, very, very strong support system. And I think that that really
Good.
helps. You know, my parents are very actively involved in my life. I have a huge, huge, huge family, and they're constantly checking in, you know. So even times where, like, even my mom now, she's like, you're going on the podcast, don't say anything bad about anybody, don't bring yourself to that level, don't be that person, you know. My dad, they're all constantly there to sort of like remind me who I am, and to never, like, even if they try to drag you in the mud, like, just dust it off and keep it moving. Do you understand? Because
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, like, people, you can get carried away, you know, and be the person that people are forcing you to be, even though you're not really that person. So for people who sort of like struggle with like mental health issues or are not as strong, because it's not easy, I'm not gonna lie to you, guys, it's not easy to see what people have to say about you, especially when it's not true. I think that's the hardest part. Like,
Yeah.
when there's something that isn't the case and people are just running with it and running wild with it, it's kind of difficult, and it's difficult to not respond, you know. But in the absence of having the strength to deal with it by yourself, I think it's also important to hold on to your family. And if you don't have family, at least like one or two close friends that you know will have your back. Call them, speak to them about it. It really helps. They say a problem shared is a problem half solved. So, you know, sometimes speaking to someone is great, because, you know, Nigerians, they don't like to go to therapists. They feel like, you know, there's also that stigma. If you go to a therapist, you know, it's like you're mad, which,
True.
you know, therapy is
You're
such
right.
a normal thing. Like in England, in America, it's so normal. Like the most
Me
normal
and
thing
my
to go to
therapist are
therapy.
best friends.
You know, exactly.
Me.
And it doesn't mean that you're crazy, but, you know, that's how Nigerians see it. But
No,
yeah, talk to someone if you
you're
must.
totally right. I think is what they need to also encourage on the show. Like, people need to just, if it doesn't, like, they need to actually encourage it, that if when your mental state needs to align with what you're trying to sell, your brand and everything. And
Yeah.
yes, they need to actually encourage people. Like, sometimes they need to show it on the show, not necessarily the this particular show, like all the shows that have to do with reality, that people need to seek mental help when it's necessary, when, you know, they see that there's need for it. Like, they shouldn't be ashamed of it. It's something that needs to
Mm,
be encouraged. Yeah,
mm.
having said that, and Choma, with all the experience and all the scrutiny and everything that you've received, do you think if the producers call you to renew your contract, you'll be open to come return for a second season?
I think that if the contract terms are fair and I'm in a mental state of mind to do a season two, I could do a season two. I Of course, there are things that obviously I know now I might do slightly differently. And I think it has more to do with the editing, not so much me being a different person, because I'm not being anything other than myself. You know what I mean? But like, I guess now that I understand that certain things are edited out and certain things are edited in based on, you know, what they feel like the viewers want to see, I think I'll be a little bit more I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say cautious, but like maybe slightly more cautious with certain things, you know, because a lot of
People
things
are
are
already
being.
saying you're very cautious and you're too
But
camera
the funny thing is,
cautious.
I'm not. That's how I am in real life. Do you understand? Like, I'm not stupid. Like, okay, first
Mhm.
of all, let's take this Laura's fight, because that's when they started saying, oh, I'm being
Yeah.
calculative, right?
Yeah.
Laura, first of all, had been coming for me from the beginning. Do you understand? And it just seemed to me like I was the target of her drama for this show. And as an intelligent person, knowing that somebody has maybe particularly consciously decided to make you their drama, you know, they say when one mad person and one sane person are fighting, right? You
Mhm.
cannot tell who the mad person is from afar. That's how I see the situation. You have come to me for drama. I don't want to have drama with you. I don't have an issue with you. Because let's be honest, what is my issue with Laura? I don't have an issue with her. Do you understand? So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to let this girl run with her madness, and I'm just going to watch her from afar. Because what you want from me is for me to respond. You want me to be mad like you, right? That's the satisfaction that you're seeking. So guess what? I'm going to give you the opposite. Because by me not responding, you'll be even more angry. Do you understand? It's like you're trying to like pick on somebody, you want them to be angry, you want them to react, and then they choose not to to react, that's going to upset you more. You know, for those who are married or
Yeah.
even in relationships, you know, that kind of thing where you're disturbing your man, you're like, answer me, let's have this conversation now, and he's not answering you. You want to die. Like, this guy's not even paying me attention. So that's what I was doing to her. Do you understand? My
Yeah,
silence was my war against her. That was my way
yeah,
of fighting, by keeping quiet and acting like, you know what, you're not going to bring me to your level. And that's what I did. So how that's been interpreted as like maybe being overly cautious is wrong. Do you understand? Was I being
yeah,
calculative in the way that I dealt with her? Of course. And my own calculation was, you know what, hit her where it hurts by giving her silence. You know, and that's exactly what I
Yeah.
did. Whether it
yeah.
sits well with anybody, that's irrelevant. At the end of the day, I didn't want to go and start like fighting her, dragging her wig, and like I wasn't going to do that, and I didn't. And if I could do it again, that's exactly how I would react.
Which
I
is
know.
okay.
And
At some point, I had
like,
to ask, like, Choma, I really had, at some point, I was wondering, and I had to ask, did Laura ever approach you in the past for you to endorse her as a good hair ambassador or something? Because I really can't understand how you occupy such a mansion in her head for
mansion,
free.
8 bedrooms, 8 bedrooms, and Choma lives in every room, in the toilet, in the kitchen, everywhere. Like, I don't get it. Like, there's a mansion, actually it's bigger than 8 bedrooms. It's like a 16 bedroom mansion that you occupy in this woman's mind. And I don't want you to obviously speak disparagingly about her, but what happened? Because it seems like there's something there, but I don't understand it, because when I look at you on the show, it's like you've not done anything to this woman.
Honestly, as Nigerians say, it shocked me. Like, I don't understand. Watching it back, because like I said, a lot of the things are said in diaries, you know, and if you actually pay attention, maybe after all the episodes play, go and watch it again. A lot of the stuff she's
Mhm.
saying is not to my face. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
In front of
Mhm.
me, she's super cool, she's chilled. And I think every other episode, I asked Laura, do you have an issue with me? What's the problem? You know, and she'll be like, no, I have no issue with you. It's fine. I'm good. Like, you know, no problem. So I'm not going to be fighting or attacking somebody who is telling me to my face they have no issue with me. Now, it's different.
Mhm.
Haven't seen all her diaries and watched all the things that she has to say about me. Of course, now I understand that it's a lot deeper than what she was portraying to me in real life. So maybe at the reunion, we might address some of those issues. But as at
Did
the
you
time
steal
we
her
were
man?
filming, of course not. Which man? Like, of course not, you know? And okay, so Laura used to come to Good Hair quite a lot at some point, and you know, but of course a lot of people have come to Good Hair quite a lot at some point. Does that mean that I have to, you know, sort of like make everybody my friend? It will be unhealthy to do that, you know. So with Laura, like,
Yeah.
she was a customer, she would come, she'll buy hair, she'll come to Brass and Copper, and she was a great customer. Like, I had no issues with her whatsoever. You know, she would comment on my pictures, I'd comment on her pictures. Like, it was very like
Mm.
casual, in the sense that, you know, you have someone who purchases from you and you appreciate their custom. That's pretty much what it was. You know, I didn't realize that she maybe assumed that we were friends, or maybe a little bit more than the client customer sorry, business owner client relationship. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that she felt that way, you know. And honestly, even on the show, when I said, oh yeah, Laura's been a client for a while, I wasn't saying it in a bad way. I wasn't trying to be rude, I wasn't trying to put her down or anything. I was just stating the facts, you know. But I guess she took that the wrong way, obviously was offended by it, and decided to attack me the entire season. You know, initially I wasn't even responding to her subtle attacks. I kind of like just left it. But then I think towards the end, I'd had enough, and I was like, you know what, like, no, this is bullshit. And I think even when she sent that message on the group, you know, to myself and Caroline, because the day before at the dinner, I kept asking. I don't know if they showed that on. I don't know if
You
they
did.
showed
You
it
did.
in the
I
episode.
saw it. I
Okay,
saw it. I saw it. Yeah.
because funny enough, I haven't even watched that episode. I have to go and watch it, you know, because in America they don't show. We're not allowed to watch it. But basically, I asked her a few times because she was quite moody, and I kept saying, "Laura, are you okay?
Are
Are
you
you
okay?
upset with?"
Yeah.
Are you upset with us for coming late? You know, is everything fine? Because if she was, I mean, she was sitting right next to me, I would have just pacified her a little bit more. But she was like, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. She was like, no, I have no issue with the lateness, you know. So for her to come the next day with all of that, I was just like, what's this rubbish, you know? And truth be
Yeah, I
told,
saw it.
I already started responding. That's the funny thing. I started responding. I was typing one long message to blast her. And then, funny enough, Miriam called me, because obviously Miriam has seen the message. She's like, did you see what Laura just said? I said, yes, I'm blasting her. She said, don't respond to that girl. You know, that's what she wants. I was like, actually, you're right. I said, let me not give her that. And I didn't respond on the group. And I decided to carry the same energy, you know, to the I don't know, intervention thing that we had, you know, the day after.
Can I
So that
can I
was that.
ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've been on the podcast with me, are we friends or are we just
So now there's an opening for us to become friends. That's what it
Oh.
is, you know. But I think that with friendships, and you know, I feel like there's nothing wrong. People need to normalize calling people acquaintances. It is not an
Yes,
insult.
Acquaintances,
It's not an
true,
insult.
boundaries are
true,
okay.
It's actually not a bad thing. It's perfectly
true.
fine.
Yes.
There's some people that are gonna look at me and maybe I've even like hung out with before, and they're gonna be like, actually, you know, we're acquaintances. You know, I have a group chat with a bunch of girls. Like there's quite a few of us, and best believe we hang out like every single Friday. But not everybody there's my friend. You know,
True.
because
I come to good
aside from
space. I come to grass and copper. I'm not your
us
friend.
hanging out and you seeing like pictures of us together and whatnot, I don't even know some of their surnames. Do you understand? I don't know what they do in their spare time. I don't know what they studied in school. I don't know who they're dating. I don't know anything about some of these people. So are they really my friends? What makes us friends? The fact that like I'm in a picture with you or I've seen you somewhere before, like, you know, and with Laura, it was even more distant. We'd never hung out before. I've never physically seen Laura, if not for good hair and brass and copper. So I just didn't, you know, necessarily take her as a friend, but a very good client, a woman that was supporting my business and putting money in my pocket. Absolutely. And I gave her all her flowers for that. But I guess it wasn't enough.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah.
can you imagine? Like you and I have mutual friends, right? And one of
Mm-hmm.
your family member is a friend of mine, and I'm saying Choma is my friend. Choma is not my friend. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know me, I don't know you like that. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
know, and so it's good that, and I think there's a lot of themes that I'm getting out of this whole podcast that we've seen, girl boss, kind of just understanding, like compartmentalizing and making sure that you take care of your mental health. And another one that I've seen you mention here is setting boundaries. People need to understand boundaries, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. It's perfectly okay to say to somebody, you don't have to say to them, but like it's okay to have friends and also to have acquaintances and also to have people that you just know,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, and they're not even in the acquaintance category. It's
Department.
okay,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
normal. But I think it's just one of those things where um I don't know.
And the funny
I
thing is,
just
guess what? Do you know what? I'm actually a very friendly person. Not necessarily like upfront, you know, off the back, I like to observe people, get to know kind of like what their character is a little bit. But when I'm friends with someone, like I'm very like growing up, my parents used to be like, you have too many friends, you have to cut some people off. It's not right because I'm just so friendly. Like I want to be friends with everybody. I'm the sort of person that you say to me, oh Chama, can we do drinks on Friday? I'm like, sure, where are we going? Like I'm not gonna question
mm,
or be like, oh, I'm busy. You know how some people will be forming busy line. I'm not that person. I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You call me, I'll pick up. I can talk for hours on the phone. Like I said, I'm a girl's girl. So I'm very open to being friends with anybody like who really wants to be my friend or who actually wants to be my friend or who I want to be their friends. Like I'm very happy to friendships. But if it just hasn't gotten to that point, then I'm not gonna say somebody's my friend when we're not actually friends yet.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
totally right. You're totally right. Oh, let's talk about your fashion on the show. I was
Yes.
living for I was living for all your fashion, all your style on the show. In fact, if
Mhm.
not all of them, like most of them, I was
Mm.
living. Ask them. I now call you Choma Dio Dio.
Dio, that's your only name for her.
I love
That's her only
that.
name for you. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with
Oh
you.
my
I
god.
like that one.
I love that outfit or that intervention, whatever what that was.
You haven't posted it
I
though,
love
Choma.
it.
Do you know
I'm
what? I have
surprised
so
you
many
didn't
pictures
post
to
it.
post. Like I'm just like, do you know? Maybe sometime this week I'll post some of my looks from the
Oh
last
my,
episode.
that outfit was my favorite. Like Chola was
Thank
like sitting
you.
with I don't nobody's going to stem my outfit. I mean
No,
this
no,
is
no.
oh my goodness. I was going to ask, like, did you have like throughout the show, did you have any stylist that styled you or what were you self-styled throughout
No,
the
I
show?
didn't have a stylist. I think it was even after the second episode that I realized that everybody had a stylist, and I was like, oh my god, I don't have a stylist. And I remember calling the producers like, I don't have a stylist. What am I supposed to do?
Oh
And they were
wow.
like, I mean, like, you know, you dress well anyway, so if you can keep it up, and if you need to get a stylist, get a stylist. But throughout the season, I mean, I'm somebody who loves fashion. Like, if you know me, my people are just like, how did you start good hair and not good fashion? Like, what have you been doing this
Yeah.
whole time? Because fashion is my life. Even growing up as a child, I was matching. If it was pink, it was pink, 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 pink. If it was blue, it was blue, blue, blue. So it's just
Yeah.
something that I've always loved, and it's been, for me, like, yes, maybe eventually I'll do something fashion related, but for me, it's not even about making money from it. It's just something that I love and I would do regardless.
Yeah.
Coming on the show, I think in real life I dress very well anyway. So why would I be on a show and do less than what I would normally do? Do you understand?
Yeah.
If anything,
Yeah.
you're on TV, take it slightly up a notch. And
Exactly.
whenever I wasn't wearing Dior, LV, I was wearing Nigerian dezigers. I was wearing
Yeah,
Nigerian brands.
true.
Yes.
Yes.
Funny enough, I love Zara. I have a lot of like Zara things here, but I was like, why am I wearing Zara when I could be promoting a Vicky James or Matopida Atelier or like,
Yes.
Medlin Couture? Like, there's so many
Yeah.
brands out
Health
there
and
that
growth.
deserve the recognition. And I mean,
Mhm.
how can we have an international platform and we won't be wearing international brands when we have so many amazing creatives out here? And for me, I
Yes.
just felt like it was an opportunity to just showcase Nigeria to the world, showcase Nigerian fashion to the world. And the funny thing is, a lot of like some of these like, American influencers, like really popular influencers and celebrities that I know or like that follow me, they've started reaching out to these designers. Do you understand? They're
Yes.
making out, like, whether the designers admit it or not, I know who's looking at my page, I know who's messaging me, and I know what's happening. So it's giving them the recognition that I wanted them to receive as well. And anyone who thinks that like maybe I dress too much or whatever, like, it's one of two things: either you're hating, or you're obviously like not clued up, because I don't really see how you can have such a platform and not use it to the benefit of yourself and your community. So I don't know.
Y'all pay them no attention. One of my posts, I said it's most of the people that go about saying Choma wears fake, this blah 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 blah. I'm like, come on, you guys can't relate. You're not on the same tax bracket. That's just it. Yes, I'll call it what it is. You
that
cannot
that that
understand
one,
this.
that one, yeah, I was like, there's some things that it's just, obviously they're hating. It is what it is, and I know how it feels. Do you understand? Like, if if you can't relate, you can't relate. It's like they say, if you don't
So
get it, forget
you
about
don't
it.
get
So
it. Yeah,
that
exactly.
one, it's just what it is. Do you understand? Like I always say,
I
if you know me and you followed me, you know what time it is. I don't think I have to explain that to anybody or prove myself. It is what it is, and it will always be what it is. So that's that.
No, I have to say I really love and, somebody living here, right? So, and I actually reached out to a friend because this is what I came to Real Housewives of Lagos for, right? I wanted to see Ninja boss babes doing their
Mm-hmm.
thing. I wanted to see Ninja fashion just doing their thing. And it's
Mm-hmm.
something that I regret not being a part of. And to be honest with you, and I can tell you behind the scenes, like after watching The Real Housewives of Lagos, I contacted a friend who is a stylist, and I was like, I want all Nigerian stuff. I don't want any fast fashion anymore. And me moving from the East Coast to the West Coast is a good clean slate to kind of get rid of everything and go
Mm-hmm.
straight and just like go home, have stuff made for me, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
because of the show, that's the impact of the show. And I want you guys to know that showcasing Nigerian designers is doing a lot for
Mm-hmm.
that community because of the show. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really glad to hear that, because like I said, there's just so much raw talent in Nigeria for it to only stay in Nigeria or within Africa. It was important for the rest of the world to see that, we've got it like that. In fact, we've got it better than a lot of these international designers. So,
Yes.
for me, I feel like I'm doing the Lord's work, looking amazing, and I will continue to do so. And anybody who cannot handle it, go and take Panadol, because you haven't seen anything yet.
Ooh.
Girl, as you're doing the Lord's work, make sure they run you your money because you're doing it perfectly well.
Yeah, you're definitely doing it. I mean,
You're
I just
doing
told
it
Thank
you,
you.
like,
well.
yeah, you're doing it well. Okay, well, I don't want to take too much more of your time. OG, do you have
Yes.
any more
I
questions?
Yes, I just have a couple of things. Then we'll play the fifth game as well. Choma will so just it's just few things that I need some clarifications on. Um
Okay.
yes. And okay, I the plan okay, I the question is whether you have any plans to pursue this reality TV thing. I see from your post I could see that you hung out with some of the like Chelsea, the Selling Sunset girl, and all that. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
maybe Toma have something under her sleeve. Is there anything, cameo or something, overseas? that you have?
Nothing up my sleeves, the truth is, with reality, I mean, like, with a lot of things, and I think that, they say man plans and God laughs, because the way that my
Yeah.
life has sort of like evolved, a lot of things that I'm doing now I didn't necessarily see coming. If you asked me a year ago, even if I would have done reality TV, I probably would have even said, God forbid. Do you understand? Like, why would I want to be on cameras following me everywhere, people watching my life, scrutinizing? I would have probably said, hell no. But then here I am today having a podcast with you guys about a reality show that I've already finished shooting, and potentially doing season 2. So
Yeah.
I just feel like with these things, you never know. I don't necessarily have any plans to, like, just venture out into like reality TV, but is it a possibility? Yeah, I mean, look at me now. So yeah, I'm pretty open to anything that comes my way. But I think for me, what's most important is using this platform that I've been given to just like showcase the things that I want to showcase. So, like, for instance, like I said, with the fashion, people just seen that Nigerian fashion is just amazing. Also, for young people watching, to see that, like, you could be a boss babe. You could be somebody who is successful, even if you're not married, even if you don't have a family. Because you know how Nigerians are, a husband is the end all be all. Or
Oh
when you have
God.
a husband, then you're now valid in society. But that's not the truth. In the international community, it's not that. So I want young girls to see that, like, yes, get married, have your family. I plan on doing that as well, but you can also get it by yourself. You could be successful by yourself. You could sit amongst other queens and not necessarily be dramatic. You could be happy for other people. Like, you can win. You can win. And I want people to continue to see that, and hopefully get inspired by how I am or how I act, and just know that, yeah, we're all queens, and we've got this. We can do this.
Yeah, of course. At the same time, showcase your brand, sell your brand. I mean, like,
Mhm.
all your hair well. Or in fact,
Mhm.
I never saw any episode your hair was not on point. So yes.
Mm-hmm,
Just
mm-hmm. Exactly. Somebody was saying, I can't remember. Someone was like, "Oh, well, I'm so vain. I always fix my hair, powder my nose." You're on TV. Why do I want to look a hot mess? I don't understand how people think. Honestly, like, I don't get it. Yes, I will fix, but I will brush my hair before every scene and powder my nose before every scene, because I'm not coming out looking like a clown. So that's just me. And yes, promoting your business is key. Introducing new businesses as well, because it's a great platform.
Yes.
Anyone that
yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
realize that is crazy. It's an amazing platform. It's an international platform, and you can basically start any business you want to start, or push forward any current business that you already have. And I think that I'm using the platform to my advantage, if you ask me.
Yes, you
No,
are.
you
You
are. You
are.
definitely are. No, I have to say that, and the last time I was in Lagos was 2016, and by
Okay.
that time, I don't think you've opened up Good Hair or
The
Brass and
good hair
Copper. I think,
space. No, we just
yeah,
had the,
I
the
hope.
first good hair salon. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna I can't wait to come back so I can visit. But I have to say, the last time I was there, I was so inspired. There were so many creatives out there, and I was actually, OG could tell you, like, I was there. And by the way OG and I met was on Twitter,
Okay.
randomly
Oh,
on Twitter Spaces 3 weeks ago.
Oh
like
wow.
wow.
literally. And anyway, so I was telling OG, I like, the ideas that I have of things to do and stuff, like, if I ever come back, obviously I'm married, I'm here, and it's a little bit more difficult to kind of come be in Lagos and try to run a business. But I say all that to say that, Lagos is a thriving place, Nigeria is a
Mhm.
thriving place, and
Mhm.
for me, the show, I feel, showcases that, and
Mhm.
that's what I came for. So people like you and all the other ladies, every single one of the ladies, are showcasing what is in the realm of possibility for people to
Mhm.
do and achieve in Lagos. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for recognizing that, and not just the drama.
Yeah, I mean, OG
we
can tell
like
you, I was
organic drama. That's the
we
thing.
like
Mm.
organic drama, like, yeah. So, just so you know, like, I was dreading episode 8. OG can tell you, I was dreading it. I did not want it to happen, but when it happened, I'm like, oh, I'm here for the grass bows, I'm here for
Mhm.
everything. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, I was
Mhm.
dreading it because I'm not used to watching Real Housewives of anything. So I did not know what to get from the fact that boss babes are fighting and wigs are gonna come off. Like,
Mhm.
like
Oh, God.
Like
Not good
I've
hair though.
never.
Good hair's never coming off, but okay.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, we're not doing that. So if
Shame.
you Shane, if you wanted to know what I felt about things coming off and agbadas and all that stuff, go listen to our last podcast because I was very clear about where that was. But we're not going to do that to you because hey, we're keeping it classy here. We're keeping it classy, drama free. But no, I have to say, speaking of keeping it classy, what was the pep talk that you gave? I
Caroline.
call her. I call her the unbothered fire dragon. That is Caroline. What was the pep talk? The
To keep it
queenly.
classy, we had
Mm,
discussed prior to the intervention, because initially we weren't going to go for this intervention because we
mm,
kind of knew what was coming. It was too close to when the messages had been exchanged, and of course the things that her and Laura had said to each other were just, these are things that as grown women you just don't want to be saying out. It was very
mm-hmm,
messy, it was very nasty, and it cut deep. So obviously they
mm-hmm,
were both in a very fiery place at that point. So in the intervention, I mean, I didn't even know what was edited. I really need to watch that episode. But at times I was like, I think that this was premature. Like, I don't think that this is the right time to do this thing, because what do you guys think is going to happen? Of course there's going to be drama. Of course they're going to fight. If I was in that situation and somebody has said half of those things to me, maybe I'll be fighting too. Do you understand? Like, so
mm-hmm.
my point, I just felt like it wasn't the appropriate time. But regardless, it was happening. And initially, Caroline and I were not going to go. We were like, no way, we're not going to be a part of this. We just want to keep it classy. And then Iyabo kind of said, guys, just come. Hopefully we can resolve things. Let's speak to Laura and everyone and just table out all the issues so it's not awkward moving forward. And then we were like, okay, fine, we'll go. But we discussed it and we said, we are going to keep it classy. We're not going to fight. In fact, I said, I'm not going to sit next to you, because if I sit next to you and we both end up attacking Laura, it's going to look like we're bullying
That
Laura.
makes sense.
So if
Okay,
you
that makes
notice,
sense.
I purposely, me and Caroline used to sit together all the time. I
Yes.
purposely did not, the only 2 times that we didn't sit together, first time at Laura's fashion show, because I wanted her and Miriam to be friends. So I kind of stepped back, because me and her, we actually came together. We just walked in separately. I stepped back for her to sit next to Miriam, do you understand? Because I wanted them to get along. I just didn't want that awkwardness. Second time, Miriam's house, because they divided us, because Miriam did one seating arrangement thing when we went to her house. And then this time, we would have naturally sat together. But I said to her, I'm not going to sit with you because it will look like we're bullying this girl, and I don't want it to seem that way, and that's why I sat away from her. As far as I was concerned, we were going to keep it classy. We weren't going to respond, nothing negative. Say what you're saying, but don't be aggressive. Do not fight. That was the agreement. So when I noticed that, in fact, the first time, I had to watch it. The first time when Laura was like, attacking, shouting, I think Laura took off her shoe or did something like she was about to fight Caroline. I didn't even move, because I was like, first of all, I didn't think that Laura would have the audacity or the balls to actually like make that move. So I was still seated where I was seated. I didn't move because I was like, I see this one, all mouth. Trust me, when people want to fight, her theatrics was too much. Do you understand? When somebody wants to fight, you won't even see it coming. They will enter you straight. So all this whole hold me. I was like, this girl's not serious. I didn't even get up to like try and hold her back or anything. Then the second time when I noticed that it was getting serious, if you guys notice, I moved my seating position. That's when I went and sat next to Caroline, and I was telling her, calm down, don't react. And then Laura threw the water, which just, in fact, that water didn't even touch Caroline. It scattered my Christian Dior. I was like, is this gone bad? But because I decided I was going to keep it classy, I was still keeping it classy. But at some point I said, listen, you just poured water on my Christian Dior. Better sit down. If not, you don't want it from both of us. Relax. And she did relax. Do you understand? I'm quiet. No, I'm not quiet. I'm classy. I'm queenie, but I'm not an idiot. Do you understand? They will tell you for free, like, don't come for me. I will give it right back to you, even 10 times more. Do you understand? So, but I do keep it classy, and it takes a lot to get me to that point,
Yeah, you actually
of uncouthness. So when Caroline obviously started responding, and it looked a bit dangerous. I wouldn't like throwing glasses, she threw like a vase. It looked very aggressive. And I'm a lawyer as well. So at the end of the day, yes, we're on a reality show. Yes, we want drama, but I'm also very careful, and I think about the potential future. Do you understand? You don't want to throw a vase on somebody's head. It breaks something. The person dies. You're in jail for the rest of your life because you're shooting Real Housewives. That doesn't make any sense.
In the USA, you get disbarred.
Exactly.
Like code of conduct is part of when you take the bar exam.
Code of conduct is very important for me as a lawyer. And second, like, you just don't want to hurt somebody to the point where sorry is not going to cut it, because it's too late, So I pulled her outside and I was just like, Caroline, like, don't let this girl get to you. And she was like, no way, how dare she? And I said, it doesn't matter. Like, we already discussed this. We're going to keep it classy. Respond, say what you need to say, use your words. Do you understand? You don't have to get physical with this girl because clearly she has come ready to fight and throw bottles and stuff. And you don't want to be that person, you know, and you don't want to hurt somebody to the point of no return because, you know, obviously I don't want to see somebody getting arrested or whatever. So I was just like, you know, keep it classy, keep it cool. Don't respond, don't react, you know, be a queen. I said, sit like a queen. You have your heavy crown
She
on your
did,
head.
though.
Let that crown weigh you down. Sit down, you know. So that's pretty much what I was saying to her.
She
And she's like,
tried.
okay,
I
no
mean,
problem.
she tried. I have to say, based on what I watch, again, I don't know what happened. I'm sure that went longer than the 10 minutes we saw it. But based on what I saw, this is why I call her the embodied fire dragon that is Caroline, right? Because she sat there cool, calm, and collected. I knew she was ready for war because you know what? I think Caroline went to the school of Agbero that I went to. Okay, so so she went to the school of Agbero. When I saw her coming in the Giuseppe Zanotti's sky high and the bracelet and the
You
sequin
saw the
bracelet.
bracelet, right? She was ready.
Yes,
The ring as well.
the ring. Yeah, so I told OG
ring.
this. This is recorded on Clubhouse. When I said this last week, I said, let me tell you this. The way I grew up in Festac, okay? The way I was taught to fight, because I used to get, I know I'm a boy. I talk too much, right? So I have a pepper mouth. So I used to get beat up a lot growing up. And so my father is like, you cannot, Tina, you cannot come back to this house crying because you have pepper mouth and they beat you up. So you have to learn how to fight, though, because if you come here crying because they beat you up, you're going to get another beating from me. So I had to learn how to fight. I had to use weapons. So when I saw Caroline come in there in her black war-torn leggings, her sequin blazer, that's her way of keeping it classy, and her Giuseppe Zanotti's and the weapon that is her bracelet and her ring.
Spiky shoes, spiky bracelet, spiky ring, she was ready.
She went to the school of Agbero that I went to. Okay? Which is when you fight, when you don't ask for fight, but when you fight, you finish it. And I was all on Caroline's side on this, and I have many issues with Caroline, but we're not gonna go there. But I am gonna ask you a question about Caroline, and you don't have to answer.
Honestly, the fight, like I said, you know, from the way that I dressed, you should understand what I came there to do. It was very obvious. Do you understand? I don't think it was a spur of the moment. I wasn't supportive. Well, I didn't know what people were saying. I was like, guys, you have it all wrong, like completely wrong, but it's what it is. You know, I said from the jump, I'm not going to give this girl any attention. Do you guys remember in the chats when she was sending those WhatsApp messages when Caroline started responding and she was like, is this Caroline or Chioma? Like, she wanted me to respond. She knew it was Caroline. We all have each other's numbers. Let's not be silly. She knew it was Caroline talking, but she wanted me to respond. So it's like, Chioma's not responding. Let me call her name again in case you don't realize this first message also was directed at her. And I was like, you know what? Now I'm not going to respond because you will now finally die because you're not going to hear from me. Do you understand? And so coming that day, same thing. But of course, Caroline, I think also probably had enough. Because the thing is, Laura did pick on Caroline quite a bit. And even I would say to her, what are you doing? Like, this girl's insulting. I said, the reason why she keeps attacking you and coming for you is because you're being quiet. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. You know, but of course, I guess she had her own plans as to why she dealt with it that way. So, yeah.
No, I'm happy that it all got settled the way it did. And I don't want to keep you. We're going on an hour. This is long.
Yeah,
so
let's just go into the game. Game. Chioma,
no, it's okay. Let her ask me her questions. Go on.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't have any question. I mean, I think you've explained everything that I thought. I wanted to know if you and Caroline were still friends because she says she's not friends with you. But I wanted to hear from you. You don't have to answer it. So.
Well, she was, as far as I was told, she was asked two questions, like if we were friends during the show and if we were friends now. So I think obviously now it's pretty clear to everybody to see that we're not friends. Now, were we friends on the show? And this is coming from somebody who's not so quick to call somebody a friend. Yes, we were.
Okay. That's all. That's all we need. I don't, we don't need to go into.
So are you and Laura now friends or just castmates? I think that's what I should say. It's no longer customer, castmates.
Shall I be very honest with you?
Yes, please.
I don't have an issue with Laura.
Okay.
I actually don't. I didn't have an issue with Laura on the show. I just couldn't understand why she was acting out so much, just because I was honest that she was a client. I couldn't understand that. But I think I'm a very good judge of character, or at least when I observe enough, I'm able to come to an honest and a reasonable conclusion. And Laura's actually not a bad person. Do you understand?
I can
You can
tell
have
that too.
it's like you have some children that are like naughty and cantankerous and troublemakers, but they don't have a bad heart. Do you understand? They can't kill you, they can't stab you, they don't lie on you, they don't do evil things. You know, she's actually not a bad person. And for me, like, I look beyond, because as you said, I'm able to compartmentalize things. I can look beyond the current situation and look at the bigger picture, the bigger spectrum. Do you understand? Aside from this show, would Laura have done what she's doing to me? No, probably not. You know, probably not. It's just maybe she's on a show, maybe she wants to be interesting, so she's like being a bit more dramatic than she ordinarily would have been, or, you know, she's capitalizing on a situation where I said she wasn't my friend and just using it to attack me. But like, Laura's not going to, like, I don't know, defame
I
your
think
character or harm you in such a way that you can't get over it. Do you understand? She wouldn't do that kind of thing. So I never had an issue with her. I don't have an issue with her. Would I say, Laura and I were friends? No.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's fair enough. Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
personally, like, after the things that Laura said about you, if it were me, I would be like, like I've told you, I went to the school of Agbero, you know, so you guys think whatever you want to think. I mean, I don't fight.
Funny enough,
I'm
I feel like it comes more from a place of insecurity. I don't know. When I watch it back and I hear some of the things that she's
Yes.
saying, I feel like, you know, human beings project. People project how they feel in their hearts. They kind of like put it on you and say that, oh, she's this, she's that. You can't say I'm acting superior if you feel inferior. That's on you. That's not my problem.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So
Or
I feel
like you
if
come
anything,
late. You come late because you want to show her. It's like, oh no,
I'm just
you
like
her
yeah,
fashion. You like her fashion.
Or people saying that, oh, I'm coming late to make an entrance. Even if I arrive first, I'll still make an entrance. If I came in the middle, I will make an entrance. If I come last, I'll always make an entrance. It's not about when I arrive, you know. So if you're
I
feeling
know.
a certain kind of way in your heart or in your mind, that's on you. Don't project that on me and accuse me of what you are feeling. You know, own your truth.
Yeah, I've actually dragged you several times on this podcast on your late come.
But guys, I'm not always late. It was one episode. Everyone's like, oh, Chama's always late. How am I always late? Pay attention. Okay, the fashion show, was I the last? I wasn't the last. I waited for 6 hours. I was in my house ready, sweating. Laura was not ready for her fashion show. I wasn't late. Even this last one, did I not arrive, paint and sip first? I'm not always. I was only late once. Guys, now wow, Nigerians.
I was going to.
And I said sorry. I said sorry so many times. They edited all the times I was saying sorry, and then put the time that I said rest.
Your sorry on the show. It was not looking genuine.
No, it was. I even brought bribe for Miriam. I brought her flowers. I was like, and I did say so. Honestly, I did say so, and I was genuinely sorry, you know. But I think one thing about me, I guess. Maybe this is my flaw. I don't like to be told off. Do you understand? Like, even my friends, my family, they know this about me. Like, tell me what you're saying. Be diplomatic with it. But when you start like almost pointing at me like a child, don't do this, I'll be like, okay, do you know what? Fuck off. Do you understand? And I think that's kind of like how that came across, because I said sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. And by the way, there's so many factors to consider. Do you understand? The time frame that it takes for you to get to your destination. Obviously, you guys just see camera, but you don't know where we're coming from or where we're going. Also, sometimes when we arrive, we're told to wait outside because they need to finish filming whatever they're filming, and then the cameras have to come outside to get. There were so many things. Like, I promise you, whatever amount of hours they said that we were late, I was probably only late 1 hour of those hours. The rest was not even my fault. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know. But yeah, that's the only time that I was particularly late. Every other time I'm relatively
Choma, we dragged you. We dragged you. Me and OG, we were like, you know me, I'm American, right? So like, I'm like on time, like I don't do late, right? So I'm like, Choma, but I have to say, let's be transparent here. We were supposed to record this over an hour ago. You were here on time.
And exactly. Thank you. And no one gives me my flowers for when I come early, only when I'm late.
Exactly. So you were here on time. There was a whole time zone thing. I was still sleeping, thinking it was an hour later. And even
Mm-hmm.
now, when we recorded it, you were on time. So, I just want
Yeah.
to let the people know out there that, you do respect people's time, because, hey, you can go listen to the past. Don't be mad at us. Please compartmentalize like
Mm-hmm.
you did with your castmate, because I want to be
I'm
your
just not going
friend.
to listen to it. I don't change my mind.
No, because I want to be your friend so bad.
No, let me not listen to it. Let me not listen.
No, no, no. I was honest. I think if you listen to any of our podcasts, we've been very, very like open and honest and just very
Mm-hmm.
objective. Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's what we see on the show, right? We don't know you
Yeah.
personally, right?
Yeah.
It's what we see on the show. Even if like my friend tells me, "Oh, this is not how Chioma is," and I'm like, I get it. I'm not forming an opinion on Chioma based on what I see on the show. I am forming an opinion on what I see on the show, not on the person. Does that make sense? Like,
Right.
I'm able to compartmentalize those types of things, and I just, I understand lateness is not a thing that I can do. My husband is a former U.S. Marine, so like if you're not there
Okay.
15 minutes before time, you're late, right? So that's
Hmm.
that's who I married, right? Like, so
Hmm.
when I came to Nigeria the last time, people be like, "Oh, this is happening. Let's go, Tina." And I show up, and everyone is not there, and I'm looking at my cousin like, "What is going on? Why is no one here?" She's like, "Tina, it is Ninja time." Okay, all
Mm-hmm.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
I by the end of my time there, I started showing up late too to everything because
Yeah.
everyone is
Yeah.
late.
And
So yeah, so
it's
I
the
get it.
culture here. It's bad, but it's the culture here, to not necessarily be on time. And like for me, do you know what? For someone who even comes late, I'm the worst person at waiting. Don't keep me waiting. I will
Oh,
literally
I
turn into
saw that.
Godzilla.
I saw that in you this last episode when you were looking at your watch. I'm like, look at Trevor, look at her watch.
I hate waiting. Like I actually hate it. So, and the thing is, like my sister's like you, Tina. She is so punctual. Like me and my sister. The only reason why we fight is my lateness. She's just like, you know what? Like I'm
Mm.
leaving. I'm gone. I'm gonna. She'll go. I'm like, okay, please take my picture before. She's like, no, let's go. So I get it. Like, and some of the
Take
people I'm
my
so close
picture.
to, they're like super on time. So I completely get it. And I'm working. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm always on time. That would be lying. Do you know, I'm Nigerian. We come late. However, I wasn't always late. And I think to paint that
Mhm.
picture as the person that's always late and doesn't respect people is rubbish, and it's so unfair. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to respond to. But I thought, you know what, as you said, people form opinions on kind of like the show and what they're seeing, and not necessarily like, I guess I'm hoping that people can also compartmentalize the show and not look at me as someone that doesn't respect people's times. It is not true. Most times I do show up on time, but of course sometimes I am late. That day I was late, but nothing close to how it was exaggerated on the show. So yeah.
Well, that's why we have this types of podcasts, right? So people can clarify things, and hopefully, when people hear the podcast, they understand a little bit more about who Trauma is and the fact that they might have formed an opinion about you based on the show. And there are going to be some weirdos out there who will never be persuaded, and we just deal with it. I mean, people
Mm-hmm,
every
mm-hmm.
week on our Instagram page, some people tell us that we are a Caroline fan page. Some people tell us that we are a Laura fan page. Some people tell us that we're a Toyin fan page. This is how like non-committed to anybody we are, because at the end of the day, I see an OGC 6 women who are boss babes in whatever field that they've decided to be boss babes in, and they're doing the damn thing. And so thank you for I thank every one of you. I love every single one of you. And so I'm gonna shut up and let OG ask her do her game, and we can end, and so we can keep you on time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Choma, the rule of the game is you will answer all the questions correctly, like honestly, truthfully, and
Mm-hmm.
you only get to plead the fifth in one question. There are 5 questions. You just only get to plead the fifth in one question. That's if the question you don't feel like you want to answer. So you only
Mm-hmm.
get to plead the fifth in one. So are you ready? You give us
I'm
the
ready. I was born
don't
ready.
give us the I don't know, I can't remember answer. It's
Does
not
it
as
have to be
simple.
one word answers, or I can explain?
You can explain, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the first question is what's the dirtiest text you've ever sent?
Hey, Jesus. The dirtiest text. Ah, my dog is here. My maid is here. Guys, leave the room. Leave the room. Hmm. Let me think. Do you know what? I'm not. I'm not a dirty talker. I'm actually so proper in that department. So,
Yeah, right.
I swear. Let me think. Dirtiest text. I don't know. Come suck me. Come look. I don't know.
Okay, okay. The second question is marry, shag, kill. Option Caroline, Tony, Laura.
Marry Laura, shag
Mhm.
Toyin, kill Caroline.
Okay. Third question. Have you ever hooked up with someone you don't know? You didn't know?
Never, ever, ever. Never had sex on the first day. I like to be wined and dined. I'm very traditional. So, no. Mm-mm.
Okay. The fourth question is what's the most embarrassing thing you've done drunk?
Oh my God. This is a long and bad story. God, I'm even embarrassed thinking about it. But anyway, so me and my boyfriend at the time, hey God, I hope my parents are not going to find this podcast. Where does this podcast play? I'd rather die. I'd rather
Everywhere.
to hear it. Hey God. Anyways, I was in, I think, Miami at one hotel, this is Thai, with my boyfriend, and we got drunk. So got back to the hotel, we're doing the do. And then I just really needed to pee. So I was like, I need to pee. Let me go and pee. The lights were off. You know, when you're like super drunk, So I just opened the door, I was like, where's the toilet? Obviously the door slammed behind me. I was like, where's the toilet? Where's the toilet? I opened my eyes. I was not in the toilet. I was on the corridor of the hotel,
Lol.
butt
Oh my
naked.
god. Oh my god. Oh my
I started
god.
knocking. I think because we were so drunk, we literally finished the bottle of vodka. He had passed out in the room. Hey, I started
Oh my
knocking, banging. He couldn't hear me. I was just there on the corridor naked.
Oh
You
my
know,
god, Choma.
I swear to God, I literally had to knock on someone's door. The person screamed, bang the door. I was thinking, I didn't want to go down to the lobby. How was I supposed to get into the room?
Yes, you're
So
naked.
if I was stuck naked, so eventually I was like, I have to go to the lobby to get the keys. Like, how am I going to get in the room? And then luckily, still unluckily, but luckily, when I got to the lift, I saw there was a phone. So you know how like sometimes they just have phones
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I picked up the phone, called Dad Zero. I was like, guys, like I need to get in my room. I didn't even remember the room number. That's how drunk I was. But luckily, because I was always viewing my pictures. Every time I'd go downstairs, I'll get like the hotel staff to take pictures of me. So they all kind of like knew me or recognized me a little bit. So
Okay.
obviously they probably looked at their cameras, saw who I was, how embarrassing, brought my keys, took me to the room and let me in. I wanted
Oh
to
my
die. I
god.
left the
Oh.
next morning. I said, we have to check out. We had 2 nights left. I said, we have to check out because how am I supposed to walk
Oh
around this hotel with my head high?
wow.
It was the worst
Okay.
thing
I'm
ever.
embarrassed. Oof.
Okay. Last question is who would you bring back on the show with you and why?
Iyabo. Is that a question?
Let me
Iyabo,
Oh,
let
100%.
me finish. Let me
Iyabo,
finish. Who
definitely.
would you not bring back if you're given the opportunity?
I know the answer to this.
You'll know after the reunion.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
so
know
you're
the answer
pleading
to
the
this.
fifth.
I don't want to plead the fifth, but I want to leave some suspense for you guys.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad that you did because I already know who you won't bring back. But hey,
You
I'm not an
suspect.
amebo. I'm not an
Yeah,
amebo.
you did well. You did well. Check. You answered all the questions. You did
Shoma,
fantastic. Mhm. On
Shoma,
Thanks.
that
you are
note,
incredible.
Oh,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
What advice do you have for your fans out there that listen to this podcast?
I love you guys. Like, I'm so grateful. Oh my God, the support has been overwhelming. I'm just like, wow, like people are so positive, not even just in Nigeria, but like worldwide in the diaspora, South Africa, Kenya, like all over, even like when I went to London like a couple of days ago, oh my God, like the people that were coming up to me were not even Nigerian. Some of them are speaking French. I don't understand what they're saying, but like you could tell that they're just in awe. So I really appreciate the love and the support. Advice, I would say, guys, like just always show up as your best. I say this thing, dress how you want to be addressed. It's not a saying, it's just for real. I know how many opportunities I've gotten in life just because of the way that I've put myself together, and
Mm-hmm.
don't think that it's a shallow thing, like, oh, dressing nice or whatever is one shot. People actually like, they pay attention. They almost take you more seriously when you look the part. you know. So
Mhm.
always come correct, give 100% of yourself. I feel like on the show I brought 100% of myself, I gave it my all, you know. And if you pay attention, you'll see that whether people receive it well or not, irrelevant, I brought 100%, and the people that matter will recognize that. And I want to say, like, whatever you're doing, you know, one of my favorite sayings is whatever is worth doing well. If I'm not going to do something well, I wouldn't even do it at all. So, you know, whatever it is in life that you're doing, guys, you know, give it 100%, give it your best. And the sky is, it's not even your limit, it's your starting point. You could be anything you want to be. I'm a lawyer, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a philanthropist, I'm a slay queen, do you understand? I'm a reality TV star, like everything. I am everything and more. And one day I'll be somebody's wife, somebody's mother. Like, you could be everything you want to be in this life. Don't let anyone make you think otherwise. Don't let anybody stop you or put you down. Like, you've got it, queen. So go for it.
That's
No,
good.
this is
That's
incredible.
good.
Thank you so much. And yes, let's just try to round out this episode and just say, Choma, thank you for showing up. Solomon, thank you for staying online with us the whole time. And this has been such a great, enlightening episode. And after this, once we end the podcast, we can still stay on and talk. But I just want to give you your flowers. I love your fashion. I love the attitude that you bring on. I love the work that you're doing with Goodway. I love seeing Boss Babe Choma. And by the way, my dog is almost 15 years old, and I am thinking of getting her sushi. Thanks to
Oh,
Choma.
get her sushi. She will love it. Sushi and pizza. Trust me, they love it.
Well,
Oh
so
my
no, I
God.
mean, no,
You
my dog is
should.
actually, she's allergic to almost everything, even grass.
Really?
So
What
so my
breed? What
baby is,
breed is she?
she's a pug mixed with a beagle, and she's just old. So
Okay.
like when she turned 12, we started seeing a decline in her. So she's deaf,
Oh no.
completely
Oh,
deaf,
poor
and
baby.
yeah, and blind in one eye, and then
Oh
the other eye she can barely
no.
see. So like, so she's old. So
Oh.
I give her what she wants, right? So right now she's on the East Coast, and my husband is here this week. My father-in-law is coming. We're gonna move everything to the West Coast, and she's going to be in the West Coast. So I'm like, well, when she goes to the West Coast, she will have sushi like Choma's dogs, and just let her live her
Just
life.
live her best life.
Exactly, before
Where are you
she
moving to
goes.
LA? Okay,
OG, I
sure.
don't know if you want to say your
Thanks for
thanks.
having
No,
me.
not necessarily. Chama, just keep it classy. I mean, like, I'm sure I loved you on the show. I still love you regardless. The only
Thank
problem I had
you.
was just the lateness, and I said it. I said my piece. So
Yeah,
yeah, just to
that's
stay
fine.
tuned.
I'm used to getting
You
slandered for being late in real life, so it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it with my chest.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Continue to
Thank
well,
stay
guys.
true
you.
to yourself and everything. So, we hope to see you for second season. Even what you call it, young, young, famous Africa, maybe. So I
Yeah,
hope to continue to see
Yeah.
you on my screen. That's all.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you
That's
so
all we
much.
have.
I
And
appreciate it.
thank you
Thanks for
so much.
having me,
And
guys.
yeah, and that's all we have for the podcast today. If you guys enjoyed what Choma had to say and what we had to ask her, feel free to continue the after party. I've been drinking wine. We started this at 10 o'clock my time. So 10 a.m. I started drinking wine because it's an after party. So I'm drinking
Okay. You should have told me. I would
and
have brought my vodka.
yeah, it's an after party. And so guys, in the after party, what do? We, after the show is the after party, we drink, we have fun. So get in the comments, let us know what you think. And Choma, thank you for gracing us with your presence and spending time with us. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.